So there's these small YouTube channels named Emiru and Mizkif, and you already know the deal. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, tldr, Emiru opened up about, and I quote from the 44 or 20 minute mark of her live stream talking about all this, quote unquote, the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail Mizkif has done towards me. In this case, the me is Emiru. And I've done my research on this whole situation, and I have saved backups of each live stream just in case anyone ever needs it from the situation. They can contact me and I'll gladly hand it over to both of you guys. I just want to do an analysis on Mizkif's response because I honestly believe that if Mizkif really wanted to do something legal about this, like Emiru said, this live stream did everything but help Mizkif. If you want to do something legal about this, you shut up. You don't say anything, and then you just immediately start the legal process. You contact your lawyer and you speak no one else but your lawyer and maybe your doctor. And keep in mind that everything I've said in this video is just hearsay. My video literally has nothing of substance at all because I'm not a professional or anything. I just wanted to give my analysis on Mizkif's response to the drama. So please don't go harassing anyone mentioned in this video. I just want to talk about my opinions on this and my observations based on what I've heard from both sides. And also timestamps will be on the bottom left corner of the screen on Mizkif's live stream about the parts what I'm talking about. And I'll link both Emiru and Mizkif's live streams down below into the comments so that people can actually see it if anyone wants to listen to both sides. And Emiru's side of the story starts at 20 minute mark of her live stream and basically goes all the way to the end. And Mizkif's side of the story starts at the 4 minute and 30 minute mark, or 4 minute and 30 second mark, where he's defending himself from ChatGPT allegations basically, and it goes all the way until the, I believe, 29 minute and 50 second mark of his live stream. So with that being said, let's begin. First, I'm just going to start off by tackling Mizkif's response to the whole thing, and then I'll be diving into stuff that he doesn't really tackle that Emiru made claims on. At the 2 minute 30 second mark, before even tackling anything, the first thing that Mizkif says is something along the lines of, "It's demon time, and we need to watch the world burn," which is genuinely psychotic to me, at least, because this is a live stream tackling psychological and domestic abuse allegations. And you're right here dropping these terms that have been synonymous with the former quote being associated with the devil's hour or whatever, and the latter quote being associated with the fucking Joker, a guy who is psychotic and cannot be reasoned with. So already we're off to a pretty bad start, but maybe it would get better, right? Well, kind of wrong. Because later on, at the 3 minute 10 second mark, he says, and I quote, these are his exact words by the way, "Ludwig was right, I'm going to completely separate myself from these people, these communities." And then that's where I ended the quote off. So already we know that Ludwig's just the pickaxe merchant selling those to the gold diggers, and it would be even more fucked up if Ludwig was siding with Mizkif more than anything, the guy who is admitting that he is a piece of shit, and the guy who is admitting that he needs help. Which he is getting help, by the way, which is a good thing, I guess. But anyways, to me, that sounds like a warlord tone, like the way he's saying, "Oh, let's watch the world burn, and it's demon time." That's a warlord tone. That is crazy type shit that Mizkif's opening move was putting on, like, this fear-mongering tone, almost as if he thinks he has power in this situation to me, which he doesn't have power to me. At the 4 minute 30 second mark, Mizkif says, and I quote, "Half my screen is red," but you can literally see in the glass pane over there that there's hardly any red compared to the rest of the glowing. That's like, what, 10-20% of his screen at most? That's not even a half, that's not nearly close. And forgive me, because men are more likely to be colorblind than women, so who knows? Maybe I just got unlucky. Mizkif has actually good vision, and I have poor vision because I'll be honest with you guys, my vision ain't that great. But pardon me if I'm wrong, but that's not red. So yeah, I'm just gonna pretend that, sure, let's just say that that's his script, right? Even though later on you can literally see that he changes color according to what the movement of the chat is, so you can tell that that's probably chat, but we're just gonna pretend that that's his script for a moment here. It really only gets worse from here because at the 4 minute 40 second mark, he says that it's not generated by ChatGPT, even though Emiru proved otherwise. And yeah, the AI allegations are a little bit questionable because I actually typed it out word for word, ran it through the same AI checker Emiru used, and it actually did show a huge AI reading. It's not the same as Emiru's because, you know, I typed it out and I couldn't see the entire thing because it was just pixels. But yeah, I made out the words, I typed it out, I got roughly the same AI reading, but I ran it through others that did say that it was kind of human. To be exact, I ran it through 8 AI checkers and only 5 of them said that it was human, but the others have stated that there's a huge certainty that it's made out of AI. So I really don't know how to feel about it, even though there's a majority that state that it's human, especially with the ridiculous amount of M dashes involved in this letter and how it sounds like yaoi fanfic. I don't really know whether or not I actually want to believe that this is ChatGPT. Like, I'm just gonna say it's not for the sake of this video, and I'm just gonna say that, you know what, let's just give them all benefit of the doubt, and let's just say that that's not generated by AI. None of what he says is still any better. Later on, at the 5-minute 8-second mark, he says, and I quote, "I wish I could show you how much red this is." Meanwhile, you might want to punch a hole in the glass pane because that glass pane is not showing what you're saying, because there's more white on your computer than white on rice. And not only that, what does this color red even do for you? Why not like a Google Doc or something like any other normal person so we can have like annotations and stuff like that? Hashtag not sponsored. But then again, considering that you have a bike in the living room for some reason, I wouldn't really put it past you to put it on like the Notes app or whatever equivalent you have for some reason. Just put it like on a Google Doc if you're going to be scripting this, dude. Now, we finally get to the meat and potatoes of it all, and I've been starving, thankfully, so, luckily this famine is about to continue, actually, because he starts off by talking about the backstory of how they both met, which I got nothing out of, basically, so I've either got to be slow or something's not right. Then, at the 6-minute 28-second mark, you talk about how you were flirting with Emiru, but at the same time, at that time, you said, you were dating a girl named Maya. That's crazy work right there, Mizkif. I didn't know you had so much motion right there. I've got a quick question for you though, buddy. Do you know what's considered cheating? To me, at least, and to multiple sources, we say that cheating is either breaking a romantic or emotional boundary that is set for exclusivity reasons, where a couple is an item and that's it. That's what we believe that cheating is. There's nothing else about it outside of that, and for you to be doing things like this is messed up. And sure, you say that you're a piece of shit at the 4-minute mark, but just because you open up a convo like that doesn't mean you're all of a sudden fully immune to criticism. That's not how it works, Mizkif. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like quote-unquote emotionally cheating or something like that, but you guys were, you literally said you were flirting with each other. So yeah, that kind of sounds like cheating to me. And not only that, at the 6-minute 55-second mark, he talks about how he wants to bring girls in to content farm them. Is that not messed up to you guys, or is that just me? Because that is one messed up thing for you to be doing. For you to want women to come over to where you live just so you can content/clip farm off of them, that's insane. And to me at least, that sounds like you're using women to clip farm them from all those gooners, which is not going to make sense because later on, and I'm going to skip this ahead here, at the 12-minute 10-second mark, and later on at the 20-minute 50-second mark, you state that, yeah, you did tell her what she can/should and can't/shouldn't do because you were trying to protect her, which included not wearing pajamas for some reason. That's a fucking wild thing to be telling your significant other. Hey, you can't wear pajamas because you need to just... Sorry, my nasal cavity's freaking acting up right now because this is like such bullshit. But anyways, that's cute and all. Sure, like you wanting to protect her is cute and all, but that literally doesn't make sense because if I'm interpreting this correctly, and pardon me if I'm not, you're using her to make the exact same content that you believe attracts all these fucking creeps, and you were considering Emiru to clip farm for the part at the 6-minute 55-second mark. You were saying that yourself. So yeah, this makes not an iota of sense for you to be saying things like, oh, I just wanted to protect her, while at the same time saying, yeah, I needed Emiru to clip farm. What the fuck? And I'm just gonna gloss over the secret relationship part because it was like secret my ass. Literally everyone knew about it, even Reddit knew about it, so it's like whatever. It's like those high school couples that I see going like, oh yeah, no, let's keep the relationship down low key, while telling everyone. Like, you cannot tell me that is, like, you two did a horrible job if this was supposed to be a secret relationship. Everyone knew about it. And let me just tell you that he basically said at the time he was dating a girl before Emiru, he never felt love for a girl that he was dating at the time. At the 9-minute 55-second mark as well, he says, and I quote, "First time I felt love for a girl." That is so insulting because that means you never loved your partner Maya at all during the relationship. That sounds horrible on your end. See what I'm saying here? Like, it hasn't even really been a full 10 minutes. Like, it goes a little bit over 10 minutes, maybe like around the 10-minute, 15 second mark, where, you know, he says something along those lines. So it goes a little bit over 10 minutes, but not even like the first 11 minutes of this response. And already you are like digging yourself down a deeper hole. Just shut up and don't say anything, dude. At the 14-minute 10-second mark, he talks about how depressed and suicidal he was, and pardon me for being a sociopath, but ooh boo hoo, he's suicidal. So what? Does that excuse all suicide bombers who did it out of a pure emotional outburst? That doesn't justify anything. The world doesn't care whether or not you're suicidal or depressed. And is it sad and unfortunate that Mizkif was going through all this? Yeah, it sucks. It is a negative period of time where his heart is numb, nothing matters anymore, and he's probably about to blow his shit off smooth. But still, at the same time, the beauty of all this negativity, and I'm not saying that you should go out there and like get depressed and like, you know, not get mental therapy and like not get mental help, and I'm not saying that being suicidal is great, but you know, you need to find a way to react appropriately if you are feeling these feelings. Get some help. Find a good support group. Get rid of your current problems and get rid of your current friends. Maybe find some people new. Something like that. I don't know. I'm not a professional. But at the same time, I feel like the beauty in life and through these negative things is that you start to learn to appreciate the positive things more in life. And that is just a natural part of life. It is natural to be depressed. It is natural to be suicidal. However, it is on the person to find someone. I mean, I'm not like suicidal or depressed really. Yeah, because I have this thought process where, from my experience at least, it depends on how you react to the situation, how you react to your feelings, and overall just dealing with the current problems that are making you feel these types of things. That is the beauty of life. There's negative things and there's positive things. But through the negative things, you get to learn to appreciate the positive things more. That is why I don't really appreciate the problems, but I can understand why the problems are so important to have in life. It's because you need those to appreciate the good things you have in life. And the fact that Mizkif is throwing in, I'm suicidal and depressed, yeah, buddy, we know almost everyone gets suicidal and depressed at the time, but you just need to deal with it in such a way where, you know, it doesn't affect the people around you. It doesn't excuse the fact that you admit later on, by the way, that you were being aggressive and like stressed out and things like that. It doesn't excuse the fact that you may or may not have been beating her up, basically. And I'm sorry if that sounded really harsh to you guys, but that's something that I'm always going to harp on. Like, sure, we all hate problems in life, but problems are important to have in life so that we can appreciate the things that we have. At the 14-minute 55-second mark, you state that she would do things to herself, and that is not okay. For you to be exposing Emiru like this is not okay. You're literally talking more about her than yourself, and you're exposing what I consider to be sensitive information about her. That's more of a horrible look on you rather than making yourself seem better than she made you out to be, nor actually makes you look better than her or makes her look worse than you. And speaking of making someone look bad, at the 16-minute 30-second mark, you bring out the rabbits from your hat, and I'm not talking about some Looney Tunes BS, I'm talking about the topic of Emiru's rabbits. And yeah, let's just say that you're right, and that Emiru is freaking slaughtering rabbits over here to make her rabbit girl costumes, and those rabbit girl costumes are actually like subliminal messaging like, I am the dominator of rabbits, I have slaughtered many in my wake. You're supposed to be addressing the allegations. You're supposed to be either putting that stuff to the beginning or at the end, because this entire section should be you addressing what she alleges you did. And last time I checked, the live stream was 40-something minutes, so that's not the end. And since it started 12 minutes ago, I don't think that you put it at the beginning either. So stay on topic. Address yourself and then her, or the other way around. You don't do both at the same time. Just keep it on topic and masterfully masterclass this and go like, yeah, she did this, I did that. That's it. For the 22-minute 15-second mark, you said that you wanted out of the relationship, so just break it off. From personal experience, I know that continuing a relationship simply because you feel bad is the worst thing to do. I've done it before, and I can honestly say I've done more harm than good by doing so. It's just not a good idea. But for you to be the way that you were about quote-unquote slamming doors and punching holes in the wall is not okay. In fact, this desire for them to break it off got so bad apparently that at the 22-minute 44-second mark, Mizkif claims that they were breaking up every week, which is some crazy work considering even I lasted longer in most of my relationships than a week, dude. How bad could you have possibly goofed up by breaking it off with her every single week? That's gotta be some of the dumbest shit I've heard in my life. And of course, at the 23-minute mark on the dot, you gotta love it when you're quoting Mizkif, by the way. I'm quoting Mizkif, by the way, here. You gotta love it when you're, quote-unquote, punching holes in the wall and slammed doors in aggression in response to your significant other throwing fucking Kirby's and essential hoodies at you. Fucking tell her to stop throwing Kirby's, dude. Holy moly, she's built like a twig. There's no shot she even had the strength to pitch a Kirby ball at you at like Mach 10 baseball levels that give you internal bleeding and a rib puncturing your lungs. There is no way that it got that bad, buddy. At the 23-minute 10-second mark, you said that you'd say you'd kill yourself, but she also said that stuff too. But after watching even more, that's certainly a false equivalence. Sure, she said that she wanted to kill herself, but you even said so yourself that it was during another haunting event of a stalker, so she said that in response to having no other way to express her desire to not want to be in that situation other than saying that she wanted to blow her shit off smooth in order to get rid of herself of this godforsaken mortal plane. And on the other hand, you said that, and I'm quoting you by the way, I one time did say I was going to kill myself during an argument. And sure, let's just say that, oh yeah, I know Emiru was also doing the same thing during arguments, because you also say that she did the same thing in multiple arguments. Let's just say all that is true. Well, just because someone does something you condemn, that doesn't justify you doing that exact same thing all of a sudden. If Memes on Drugs posts what I deem to be inappropriate content, does that mean all of a sudden I can do that too? No, it doesn't. That just means I should be the better person and I should not be doing that type of stuff. And not do something. At the 25-minute on the dot mark, you say that she posted a provocative picture that she admitted would upset you, but you literally said that you wanted her to farm earlier. So which is it? Do you want her to be a certain way or not? Her emotional instability in the relationship comes from this uncertainty of wanting to do what you command her to do, like she's Hassan's dog. And also, in that same minute, there's a contradiction in the story that you don't address. You said that you two were going to BJ's to get food, but she says that she was at home and was crying. Who's telling the truth? You never addressed that contradiction, and I'm not saying that you or Emiru is lying, because I don't know who is lying. Someone's gotta be lying here, because there was a contradiction. Mizkif says that they were going to get food, and then they came home. However, Emiru says that she was at home, Mizkif comes over to her house to talk, and then after that, that's when the whole quote-unquote sexual assault thing happens. So, which is it? Who here is lying? I don't know, because this is more of a personal thing. And again, I know nothing about this situation, so I'm taking everyone at their word for it, and I'm gonna assume that everything that everyone says is true. And I just want to play on their domain, so that way there is no excuse for anyone to be, saying anything, because clearly somebody here is in the wrong. Well, I mean, both people are in the wrong to some extent, I'm pretty sure. Somebody did something wrong at some point in the relationship, but you get the idea. Somebody's got to be lying during this contradiction here. At the 25-minute 50-second mark, you just drop a fresh 2025 oxymoron here where you say, and I quote, "But we got back together soon afterwards, and during those last few months when we were fighting, we were still fighting, but the relationship made good progress." That's a literal oxymoron. You can't just say that because that's so contradictory. That is truly the opposite. Look on screen for an example. And also, at the 27-minute 30-second mark, you claim that you've been booted from OTK stuff, and when asking for an explanation, you didn't get any. Proof where? It's really easy, dude. Just pull up your DMs with the other OTK founders minus Emiru. Also, at the 25-minute 10-second mark, you state that there's a lot of falsehoods, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't directly address that she alleges against you. And I'm not saying that you gotta respond to every single minor little speck of an allegation, but I'm saying at least address a majority, which is really only just half plus one, of the allegations she lifted against you, but you don't, which now that I think about it, I did say that he shouldn't really be talking about this, so I'm assuming that Mizkif will actually be launching a legal case against Emiru, which really, with this live stream you did, Godspeed, dude, because Emiru's lawyers may or may not have a field day with this because you're talking. If you're going to be doing something about it, don't talk. Just talk to your lawyers about it and launch the legal case privately. Now, I didn't script this part, but I do want to go over some of the allegations that Emiru raised in her live stream, at least. So we're giving timestamps on her live stream now about what Mizkif would do and things like that Mizkif never really addresses. So I just want to throw that out there as well in case anybody ever really needs it. So at approximately the 59-minute mark of Emiru's live stream, she says that Mizkif didn't want to stream at the same time as Emiru because, he was like insecure about his viewership count or something like that. That's something that she says. At the 1 hour, 2-minute mark on the dot, Emiru talks about how he purposefully chose a door that was next to Emiru's streaming room, and then apparently he crashed out to the point where the glass door broke. And yeah, all that's something. Another thing is 1 hour and 5 minute on the dot mark, which is essentially Mizkif crashing out again. He would break furniture allegedly and would break walls in front of Emiru because she announced she was going to move out to commit to moving out or something like that. So then he crashed out, and then apparently he would go 150 miles per hour because he would crash out in order to make her feel fear or something like that. I don't really know. And another one is at approximately the 1 hour, 9 minute, 30-second mark. Emiru claims that Mizkif was trying to be more physically intimidating and then pussied out when he saw someone else was there. I don't remember who the specific person that sapped Mizkif's aura out was, but I mean, there's just another thing for you there if you want to go back to her live stream and see some of these things. And another thing that Mizkif doesn't really address is just screenshots that come around the 1 hour and 20-minute, 20-second mark of DMs of Mizkif saying all you do is take, and like the ChatGPT allegations and things like that, which is another thing that he doesn't really fully address. He doesn't fully address the ChatGPT allegations because I'm pretty sure that wouldn't really cause any legal harm to actually just talk about, oh, this isn't ChatGPT generated, guys. I ran it through 5 different ChatGPT checkers because I did, and a lot of them kind of proved that he was right. So why not pull those out? And why didn't Emiru like take out more ChatGPT checkers just to make sure and like fully solidify that it was ChatGPT? But that comes from the perspective of a guy who is in the like STEM thing. He's like more onto STEM, so like I'm like more incentivized to check through multiple ChatGPT checkers. Oh my gosh, I just ran out of breath. But anyways, yeah, you get the idea. Those are some other allegations that Mizkif doesn't really address, to me at least, from what I've watched. So yeah, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I really gotta say. Yeah, overall, Mizkif, this live stream, if you want to press legal charges, which I think that you are based on the fact that you didn't really address many things, I feel like this thing kind of cooked you, really. Like, sure, you got a little bit of PR among your audience, but if you're gonna launch like a legal investigation or like legal court case, sue her, whatever the terminology is, this live stream didn't really help you. In fact, it only really hurt you, and by a lot, by the way, to me. Like, that hurt a lot. Yeah, next time if you want to do something, I highly suggest don't say anything because a lot of this is just really bad luck to me, at least. I'm no legal professional though, so like, you might want to talk to your lawyer about this before you actually, tell your lawyer, yo, can you like cover me, dude? Yeah, Emiru, if you're watching this, Godspeed to ya. Wish you the best in life. I don't really know what else to say because I don't even know these people. I just wanted to do this just for the love of the game. So, yeah, I mean, you guys got this now. That's about it. That's all I really gotta say. I hope you have a good day, and bye.